Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you're an old subscriber, welcome back and thank you for tuning into this edition. So on this channel, the channel's name is Real Crimes, Mysteries and Murders. So on this channel I talk about real crimes that have happened in Africa, outside Africa, anywhere and everywhere where Africans are thriving. But you will notice that most of my stories involve Zimbabwe. Now, the reason I talk about Zimbabwe is because that's my beautiful Zimbabwe right there. So yeah, most of my crimes or most of my stories are actually from Zimbabwe, or people that are from Zimbabwe. They might be in other countries, but they are definitely Zimbabweans. Okay, now in just as a disclaimer, everything I talk about, all the stories I talk about on this channel are already there in the public domain. I do not make them up. They are not my stories. They are already in the public domain. If you want to research about them, you can actually research by yourself. But what I do is I make your life easy. I don't want you to go about researching. I do the research for you and I compile everything into a video so that you can just have a one-stop shop to hear your stories from start to end. Very simple. That's my disclaimer right there. I do not make up stories. They are already in the public domain. Okay, now let's set that aside. Let's talk about today's story. So in today's story, we are going to talk about Zimbabwean women that have been busted abroad for possession of drugs. So from now on, I am just going to be calling this crime possession. I am not going to say possession of blah, blah, blah. No, it's just going to be possession from now on. So I'm talking about women, Zimbabwean women, that have been busted abroad for possession. Now, there are a lot of people that have been busted abroad for possession, both men and women, from Africa, from other continents. But in today's story, we are going to focus on Zimbabwean women that have been busted abroad for possession. So let's dive right in. Refreshing. My first story. So the first crime I want to talk about is about Mary Ziwachi, a Zimbabwean woman. Now, I was not able to establish her age at the time of arrest or at the time of sentencing. I was also not able to establish what kind of financial situation she was in or what she did for a living. But this is what happened to Mary. In October of 2020, Mary Ziwachi was traveling from Harare, Zimbabwe, to Accra, Ghana, and she was going to go via Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and she was on board Ethiopian Air. So when she got to the Ethiopian airport, that is it Bole International Airport? I don't know how to pronounce B-O-L-E, probably it's Bole, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but okay, I'll call it Bole International Airport. So when she got there in Addis Ababa, the customs had, for some reason, they suspected that there was something in her bag, and then they cut open her bag and they found 5,900 grams of substance. Okay, now 9,500 grams, that's 5.9 kgs, right, of the substance of heroin. Yeah, and she was arrested. So that was in October of 2020. And according to her, okay, when the charges were read to her, when Mary was brought to court, the charges were read to her, and her charges were that she was in possession and she was trafficking this substance to Accra, Ghana. But she said that she didn't know anything about the substance. She said a close friend had put the substance in her bag without her knowledge. So she said she didn't know anything about it. Now, she was actually, the facts were presented to her, and the case was brought before the courts, and the facts were brought to the courts, and she was found guilty. She was asked to defend herself. She could not defend herself sufficiently for her to get off the hook, but rather she was found guilty and she was sentenced to 9 years in prison in Ethiopia. So she didn't go all the way to Accra, Ghana. I'm not sure how much time she would have gotten if she had been caught in Zimbabwe or she had been caught in Accra, Ghana. But in Ethiopia, she actually got 9 years. That is Mary's watch. So she was sentenced last year, 2021, and she was given 9 years in prison. Probably she's still serving her term. I'm not sure if she tried to appeal or she decided that she was just going to serve her term and probably like accept her fate like most people would, right? This is a foreign country. Sometimes you'd rather just accept your fate and move on. So guys, do you know anything about this story? If you know something about it, please do comment down below. Do you think she really didn't know that the substance was in her bag? Do you think it had anything to do with the current economic situation in our country? Do you think this was her first time, or do you think she had done it before? Do you know anything, any more details about this story? All I know is she's a Zimbabwean woman who was busted abroad in Ethiopia and was given a good 9 years for possession. Let's go to person number 2. Okay, so now let's talk about Sharon Chigwaza. In June of 2021, Sharon Chigwaza was on her way to Delhi, India, and she was coming from Johannesburg. She is a Zimbabwean woman, by the way, 31 years of age at the time of her arrest, which is June 2021. So she was traveling from Johannesburg, going to Delhi. So when she got to Bangalore, Bangalore is India, right? So she was supposed to proceed to Delhi. So when she got to Bangalore, the Narcotic Control Bureau of India busted her. They searched her bags and they found that there was a secret pocket at the bottom of a trolley bag. Oh, so now I'm made to understand that they acted on a tip-off. Somebody had actually tipped them off that there is a woman who's going to be coming there and she's got this kind of bag, and you know, so when she got there, they were waiting for her. So they took her luggage, and they took her trolley bag and they searched it and they cut open a special pocket that was right at the bottom of her trolley bag, and inside was 2.91 kgs of narcotics. Now, this drug that she had was also heroin. And then preliminary investigations showed that she had actually gotten the substance in Johannesburg. It had been handed to her by a Nigerian man who lives in South Africa, and she was supposed to transport it to Delhi, India. Now, what is scary about Sharon's situation is they actually believed she was a member of a drug trafficking gang or syndicate that was messing up India. So they actually believed that she was one of them. They didn't think that she was the ringleader, but they actually concluded that she was one of the members in that syndicate, and they were hoping that she would cooperate with the authorities and reveal the other people that were involved in the syndicate. I'm not even sure if that was possible. Now, I didn't see anywhere where Sharon was actually sentenced or what happened to Sharon after she was arrested. But all I can tell you is Sharon Chigwaza was busted in India for possession in June of 2021. And this is a Zimbabwean woman, by the way. Now, India and Zimbabwean women are actually probably familiar with this kind of behavior, right? Because just a year earlier in 2020, a 45-year-old woman a Zimbabwean woman, had been arrested in India, also in New Delhi, for possession. So according to the information that I found, surveillance people, the narcotics people, were doing some surveillance. They actually noticed that, oh, this woman she's acting a bit suspicious. The way she's walking around, decided that they were going to call her in for a search, and they searched her, and indeed they found that she had narcotic substances on her, and these were valued at 31,600 US dollars. That's a whole lot of substance right there. But yeah, they found that on her. So she was immediately arrested, and her name was Norest Gwatizo, and she was 45 years old, and she was also a Zimbabwean woman. That was 2020. Now I'm not sure, I didn't see where she was sentenced or what she was sentenced to. Guys, if you know anything about these stories, please comment down below. Let's talk about it. Let's keep the conversation going. I want to know what happened to these women. What happened to Sharon? What happened to Norest? Let's keep the conversation going. These are two women that were busted in India for possession, Norest and Sharon, but they were busted on different occasions. One was busted in 2020, the other one was 2021, but they're both Zimbabwean women. So what happened to them after that? Do comment down below. Fourth woman that we want to talk about is again somebody who was apprehended or busted in India for possession again, and this was in 2018. So in 2018, the Central Industrial Security Force actually gave a tip off to the Narcotics Control Bureau at the airport that there was going to be a foreign national who was going to come to the airport, and this person was in possession of some harmful substance, or they actually called it a party drug. So on that same evening, Betty, and her full name is Betty Betty Rame, walked into the airport at about 8:30 in the evening, and then she checked in and everything was fine. And then when she was about to board her flight, she was actually traveling from Delhi going to Manila in the Philippines. So she was carrying some party stuff, you know. I don't know if you know what Manila is popular for. So anyway, she was going to go to Manila with these party substances. And unfortunately for her, when she was about to board, like everything is sorted, you think, oh, I think I've gotten away with this one. She was arrested while she was just about to board her flight on gate number 3. And the security came to her and whisked her away, and then they whisked her away and they took her to where her luggage was, and then they opened her luggage in her presence, and they found some package that was between her clothes, and it was said to be pretty heavy for something that could just be stashed between clothes. So it was 3 kgs actually. So when they opened this package, they realized that it was what they call meth or ice. Okay, and she was arrested immediately. Again, this was a tip off. This was because the security, or the Narcotics Control Bureau was actually tipped off that this woman was coming. So I want to believe that she had gotten this substance in India, and then that's why they were able to tip off the people at the airport that there is somebody, a foreign woman, who is coming, and they probably described her. So she probably had gotten this from somebody in India, and she was taking this to Manila in the Philippines. And yeah, she was arrested. And in December of 2018, 30-year-old Cynthia Lichonja was arrested in Accra, Ghana for possession. So what happened with Cynthia is that she got into Ghana on board Ethiopian Airways. So when she was going through the formalities of arrival, her bags were being scanned as they were going out through security and everything. And then the customs saw something that was suspicious, or the security, they saw something that was suspicious about her bag. So they asked her to step aside, and they also got her bags, and they actually took her to a private place, and then they opened her bags in her presence. And out of her bag, there was a secret compartment in her bag, and out of that secret compartment they were able to pull out a package, or different small packets of some brownish stuff, and they were able to test that, and they discovered that it was obviously a narcotic substance, and it weighed 7.5 kgs. Now, Cynthia said she didn't know anything that was in that bag, because according to her, she got the bag from somebody named Patience, a childhood friend of hers, and she was told to hand it over to somebody in Accra, Ghana. But by the time she was arrested, she had not met this person. She was still coming into the airport, just getting off the plane, and then going through arrivals and everything. So she was arrested there. Now, Cynthia was immediately arrested, and she was on remand for quite some time. Why? Because they were also trying to track this patient that she was talking about, and the Narcotics Bureau for Ghana actually encouraged people that they should never ever be asked to deliver packages to people if they don't know what's in the package. They should not just accept bags and be told that, okay, please take this bag to this place. They shouldn't do that, because you don't know what's in there. It's better you actually find out what's in the bag first before you go and you find yourself on the plane. Also, Cynthia said Patience also bought her the ticket to go to Accra, Ghana. So now they were trying to find out who Patience was, where Patience was, and who else was involved in this trafficking business. And the bureau in the Narcotics Bureau in Ghana actually encouraged the public that when you're caught, just squeal, just snitch, say everything who's involved, like, yeah, help yourself. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Do you think Cynthia knew what was in the package? Do you think there's actually a patient somewhere who is hiding and who gave Cynthia this package without even telling her what was inside? Do you think Cynthia did not know what was inside that package, or she was just using that as her own defense? I don't know, guys, what do you think? And I'm not sure about the laws in Ghana concerning possession. I'm not sure how much time she stands to get, or she stood to get, or she got for that. And I'm not sure if they were able to find Patience, if they were able to find the other people that were involved in this. Let's talk about Elsie, a Zimbabwean woman aged 45 who was arrested for possession in the Seychelles. So it is said that she was carrying 2 different substances that actually totaled just slightly over 2 kgs. And when she was arrested, she actually pled guilty to 2 charges. One charge was for trying to import a controlled substance, and the other charge was possession of this controlled substance. When she was given the charges, when the charges were read out to her, she pleaded guilty to both. So instead of getting 6 years sentence for each of the crimes, which is the stipulated sentence, the courts decided that they were going to give her 5 years for each charge, because once she had cooperated with the court, she did not argue, she did not make up stories, she actually pled guilty. And also it was her first time, she was a first-time offender, so they decided that they were going to be a bit lenient with her and give her 5 years for each charge. However, these charges are said to be running concurrently, meaning she will have to serve a full 5 years only, not 10 years. So this is a 45-year-old Zimbabwean woman busted abroad, arrested in the Seychelles for possession. Now, when somebody actually pleads guilty, right, what does that say to you? Is it saying that they are not remorseful, or is it saying that they don't want to waste the court's time? They know what they've done is wrong, and they are prepared to actually face their music and, you know, pay to society what they have done for what they have done. It looks to me like it actually sent a good signal to the courts. It worked to her advantage because they felt that she didn't waste the court's time. She didn't waste public resources. She just went straight through. I did it. Yeah, yes, I am guilty. I did it. What does a guilty plea say to you guys? Lawyers, what does that say when somebody just chooses to plead guilty? What does that say? But anyway, yeah, it worked to her advantage. She got a lesser sentence than the stipulated one. So there is one case that went viral. The one where 4 ladies were arrested in Mauritius and were sentenced to 20 years in prison for possession. This one went viral, if you remember very, very well, in 2019. It was all over social media, and people were talking about it, like, what happened, where, how, when. So it turns out that these 4 ladies were actually busted in Mauritius for possession, and they had together they had less than 2 kgs. So these ladies were recruited by somebody whose initials were BT. I don't know who that person is, and this BT made them to put on t-shirts that had something to do with church. So they were saying that they were going to a church conference for a church that I will not mention, but it's one of those mainline churches. So they say that they were told to lie to customs that they were going for a church conference. They were instructed to swallow the sachets with the substance, but one of them did not. She put the substance in her bag. So at the airport in Mauritius, again in Mauritius, and they're coming from Zimbabwe, they've passed Zimbabwean security. How? Anyway, so they passed Zimbabwean security and they managed to get onto the plane. Now in Mauritius, the security noticed that there was something suspicious about them, and they also noticed the one who had the substance in her bag. And then they were all taken and they were made to actually, they scanned them, obviously, and they would see when they do a board scan, they can see that you have got sachets in your stomach. So they were arrested and they were sentenced to 20 years in prison. Their families did not help them. They had no representation, no lawyers. Nobody from the embassy came through for them. And so for some time, people were actually appealing on Facebook if there was anybody who could assist these women, if at all there were any citizens that could assist these women. One of them was said to have left behind a 9-month-old baby when she was actually going to Mauritius for this particular conference. And then they got busted and they were arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Now it looks like some countries are actually have more stiffer penalties than others. Mauritius is one of those countries that actually does not joke about substances at all. Like, they don't joke about that one. Yeah, so they were given probably the maximum sentence. So the last person I want to talk about is was actually arrested quite recently in the year 2022. Her name is Rose. Now, there isn't a full name for Rose, it's just Rose. Rose was also arrested in India for possession. The total package of what she was in possession of was just over 8 kgs, but there were 2 different substances that she was carrying. So according to Rose comes from a poor family, and she was a cancer patient, or she is a cancer patient, and then she got these people in Zimbabwe that offered to pay for her medical bills to be treated in India in exchange of her trafficking these substances to India on their behalf. So she was basically a mule, and she knew exactly what she was doing. She was not pretending to be confused or not to know what was going on. She knew exactly what she was carrying, and she did it for a purpose. According to her, she was supposed to be helped with her cancer treatment in India. So they were willing to pay for her stay in India as well as her medical bills in India if she just carried this package on their behalf to India. So it is said that at the airport, because of intelligence officers that had been studying how people were bringing in substances into the country, they had established that mostly it's foreigners who are mostly women that are carrying these substances. So when they saw Rose, they also decided they were going to search her just to make sure, not because anybody suspected her of anything, but because she's a foreign national and she's a woman. And most of their cases had, most of the times that they had actually caught somebody in possession was because she was, these people were actually foreign women. So they decided they would just do their due diligence and check her as well. And boom, they got just over 8 kgs of substance on her. Rose is said to be 40 years of age and a cancer patient. Now that's just so sad. That is really sad. So what do you guys think could be the reason that women are moving these substances between countries, between borders, and then getting caught? Do you think mostly it's because they don't know what they are carrying, or do you think they actually know what they are carrying, but because of the economic situation in our country, people are deciding that they will risk it and just hope for the best? Like Rose's situation, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you do it if it was going to save your life? But for me, it's not even about all these things that would you do it, would you not do it. What is actually shocking for me is we have those substances in our country. Like, it's still quite shocking for me, because I've always thought that our country was substance free. You know, I thought the worst that was in our country was probably that cough mixture that people are abusing. I thought that was the worst we had. I didn't even know that we have those things in our country. Like, where are they coming from? Are we making them in there, or are we getting them from other countries and then moving them out? And then my other question also is, if somebody is going to be arrested in India and they're coming from Zimbabwe, and they said they got this thing in Zimbabwe, how did they pass through the security check in Zimbabwe? If somebody is being arrested in India and they're coming from Johannesburg and they're saying they got this in Johannesburg, how did they pass through the security in Johannesburg? Can somebody explain to me how that happens? Is it possible that we actually have corrupt officials amongst us? Is it possible that we don't have the proper equipment to check for these bags? Is it possible that we don't have well-trained people to actually spot these people, to spot these drug mules? Why? How? Because if I am going to be arrested, I should be arrested right at the airport where I am starting with this, when I have this substance. How do you pass through Harare and then get arrested in Ethiopia? How do you get out of OR Tambo and get arrested in Gandhi? How does that happen? Can somebody explain that to me, please? Let's keep the conversation going. I want to know how that happens. How does somebody carry something from Johannesburg and then they pass Ethiopia and then they only get arrested when they get to India? What's happening here? Are there no officials? Are there no cameras? Are there no sniff dogs? Are there no machines to detect these things like security? Please explain to me. What do you think happens? Because for the 2 cases that actually kind of struck me, the one where this lady says she's from Johannesburg and she only got caught when she was already in India. The other one from Harare and she only got caught already in India. Like, Why? How? If you are in India and you got the substance in India and you're trying to take it to another country and then they catch you at the airport in India, okay, that makes sense to me. But how do you explain going through a whole airport with that substance and only getting caught in the next airport? I don't know, guys. What do you think? So anyway, guys, those are the stories for the day. This is the story of the day, or these are the stories of the day. Zimbabwean women that have been busted abroad for possession. What do you think is driving these women to these things? Because normally you would expect men to take such risks, but yeah, women are actually taking these risks. Is it because ignorance? Is it because of financial situation? Is it because they don't even know what is happening? They're just moving things on, they're innocently moving things that they don't know. I don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please do keep the conversation going. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed just yet. Okay, if you're a subscriber already, thank you. And let's keep the channel growing. Let's grow the family together. Thank you so much. I just want to say something that I forgot to say at the beginning of the video. I'll be uploading videos every Monday, okay, because my work schedule is quite busy right now. Probably when I take when we have our summer holiday, which is sometime in July, I think we'll have 2 months of summer vacation. Probably I will upload more videos, maybe 2-3 videos a week. But for now, our semester is in full swing and I don't really have a lot of time on my hands. So I'll be uploading only Mondays, okay? And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so that you do not miss anything at all. And don't forget to comment. Thank you, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, do what you need to do to stay safe. Protect your families, protect your loved ones. There is COVID out there, and stay away from crime. Because if you do crime, you are most likely to do the time. In the meantime, be blessed.